Rex rhymes with.
That's funny. And there's significance in the beginning of the name because all his kids are Rexel, Rexiglaire, Rexter, Rexford, Rexanne.
Stop.
And you know what Rex means?
Stop.
The symbol is...
Wait. I know what it means. Wait. Because King. Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Dude, yeah. Oh my God, that's why it's Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes!
What are we doing in here?
Wait, what?
Were we recording? I wasn't recording, bro. Yes, I was. We on fire today.
Oh, man. Well, let me start us off, man, with a really cool story of something that happened to me this morning. A story of redemption and a story of second chances.
We like redemption.
So, we're real estate agents, and sometimes when we're feeling froggy, and for the more consistent of us, every time we sell a house, we like to give a gift to the client that we worked with, to something to commemorate the transaction, and you know, and that's common.
I've done that before.
I'm sure you've tried it. But in this particular case, I was turned on to a company who makes custom wood pieces, and they use one of those really cool, newfangled 3D, not 3D printers.
Like a laser?
It's a laser that engraves and cuts wood. Mm-hmm. So you program it to put whatever logo, whatever name, whatever font, and then he stains them, and it's sexy. And in this case, it's the last name of the family buying the house.
Oh, nice. Good call.
Well, I mean, it was a great idea. I liked the price. I liked everything. And the person that recommended it is somebody here in the office. And, you know, shout out to Sarah Kane. So I immediately went to their page, sent an inbox, and said, I need 3 of them. Mm-hmm. This person's name, this person's name, this person's name. Mm-hmm. They said, great. You got to pay in advance. I said, no problem.
Good.
Paid the man, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's when things got weird. This was back in December.
Oh, no.
I was hoping to get this stuff to these people by Christmas time.
Uh-huh. This is March, people.
Yeah, it is March. It's mid-March. We're spring breaking it right now. And so...
Spring break present is different.
Now keep in mind... one of the people this gift was for, and tell me if you've ever done something so stupid as this.
Probably.
I gave them a gift of a gift card.
Okay.
There's nothing stupid there until they call you and say that there's no money on the gift card that you sent them.
Oh, man.
And it's not even a situation of there was like an error at that. Like, I think I gave them a card that I had used. Let's get it understood. I mean, it's one thing to re-gift a gift card.
Yeah.
But I might have re-gifted a gift card that was gifted to me that I actually took advantage of. So I'm looking stupid. I tell them, I'm sorry. I got something else in mind. That was months ago.
Oh my gosh. And they're...
Yeah. So, now I'm a busy guy myself, you know, and I reached out to the people maybe back in January, and I didn't hear anything. And then I reached out again on, you know, like, hello.
It's supply chain, man. You know, wood from COVID. Like they're not manufacturing wood like they were. Maybe I mean, you know, I don't want to spoil the story.
I wasn't getting nothing.
Okay.
I mean, I was getting nothing from this company, and there would be flashes of times in which I would be like, I bet if I jump on Facebook and tag these people and say these guys took my money and never decided that I didn't exist anymore, I bet I'll get an inbox then.
Yeah, the new world.
You know. And those were flashes. Those were like flashes of a sword that I could pick up.
But you didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to go even in the room with the sword. But it was, you know, I was reminded that I had that power in this situation.
Of course.
We're talking a couple $100. It's nothing that's going to change anybody's life, but principalities. As Big Worm once said in the great movie of our time of the 1900s, Friday.
Oh, yes.
It's the principalities.
Oh, I didn't know that was a Big Worm. Turn. Oh yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay, that's a hoof.
I mean,
don't ever admit that again.
No, I know Big Worm.
You should know every line of that.
You know every line of every movie.
No, but
everybody knows
Friday.
that. Okay, all right.
Anyway,
moving on.
Long
Saturday
story short,
now.
man, I get the message in my Facebook Messenger inbox that somebody wants to send you a message. Now, you should know what that means, but you're frowning a little bit, and I think it's because you don't know what that means. What that means, when you get a message from Messenger that says somebody wants to send, well, why don't you just show me? Why are you telling me? How come it just doesn't pop? That means it's somebody that's not already your friend.
Not your friend.
Yeah, you've been there. Yeah, you've had that.
People send me messages, bro.
Okay, good. I didn't know how active you were. Yeah. But anyway, that I got that. I clicked on it. It was a name I didn't recognize. Keep in mind, I had been communicating with the business page.
Sure.
This person who's doing this had a business page, and to further cement how legitimized they perceive this business, it turns out that this was the owner of the company, and it was when he was preparing his taxes for his tax preparer that he realized that somebody had paid for something and never got it.
Huh. Okay.
Yes, and he was extremely apologetic about the whole thing.
Wow.
And this, I tell you what, guys, if you're in a situation like I was, sometimes not responding at all. Listen, he texted me and he said, "Look, I feel bad about what happened. I'd love to. Let me get you your money back. Send me a Venmo or whatever so I can get you paid back." And I didn't say anything.
Oh, good move.
And then 4 hours later was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry that happened. How about I make them for you anyway, and I still give you the money back."
Patience is a virtue, sir.
And I took him up on his offer. And this morning, right before the show, I met him at his day job at Advisors Excel.
Oh, wow. And
he brought him out there, and he was just the nicest guy ever. And, he was so gracious and thankful that, I made this process easy. Obviously, he lost a little bit of time, labor, and materials.
Yeah.
But I think he was just happy that I wasn't, angry. And I,
What do you think his motivation was to do that? I'll let you say. He
told me he gave me some excuses about how it happened.
Oh, sure, but I mean, to make it right, what made him think that this is what I should do and why?
I mean, I don't want to go completely into his brain. I'd like to think that he would have given the same deal or resolution to somebody who was never on social media.
Yeah,
versus somebody like me that
he's crossed a behemoth right there.
Well, I'm blaming
but so my point is,
so I don't know, but I think that he realized that he even had connected the fact that who referred him.
Okay,
and he really didn't want to make himself look bad to that person.
Sure,
who went out of their way to promote their business. So you could just feel the sorrow, humility, and all of that in his demeanor. And I let him know that, hey, I didn't tell a single person about this situation. My wife didn't even know.
Sure.
She woke up this morning and goes, "Who's this guy sending me random money on my Venmo?" And so I felt good about the fact that I used restraint, and I'll get a nice laugh out of the people when I finally deliver these gifts to them.
It's a good story. It's memorable. A memorable story. And hopefully what that guy did to make it right is not just all about business. I think that if I make a mistake, and I bet that you're the same way, if we make a mistake, we want it to be right because we feel like that's how we need to make the world go round. If I did something wrong and it hurt somebody else, I want to make it better with them to the best of my ability and maybe pay it forward a little bit too. Maybe even go the extra mile a little bit. And hopefully that's what that guy was doing. Hopefully that's what everybody is doing out there in business all the time. And I think you're that way, aren't you?
Well, in my time in the car business, man, I learned something.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one too.
And I'm gonna keep this brief. But what I learned was that, you see, in the car business, as a salesperson who's already looked down upon, sometimes you don't know when somebody says, I gotta go, but I'll be back tomorrow, if they're just trying to get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm. I've done that.
Or if it's, right. These people don't deserve my truth. It's just, what do I got to say to end this situation, right? And
Sure.
what I found over years and years of data and literally thousands of customers is that it was my small town folks who were more truthful than my bigger city folks.
Huh. Well, yeah, it's anonymity maybe in the big city.
That's what I believe. I believe in small town, you are always aware of your word and your actions.
Yeah.
Because there's no hiding from your neighbors in a small town. Everybody knows everything. Mm-hmm. You know, in the middle of upstate or middle of New York or Manhattan, you could walk around the whole thing naked, right?
Love
and then
that.
the very next day, put your clothes on and walk amongst it, and nobody would be like, "Hey, that was the naked guy." You know,
they couldn't even prove it anyway. You know, you look like 20 other Bruce Lees out there, like me. You know, I mean,
but in a small town, that's gonna stay with you for the rest of your life, and it really taught me something that, you know, your name, your word, it's important, and that's why my response is probably 50% making it right and 50% protecting my name, because without my sound name, I can't provide for my family.
Oh yeah.
In the way that I've been used to.
Yep.
If I tarnish this name, I will be relegating myself to a different line of work in which my name means nothing, in which the corporation is more important than my own name. And that's something I take extremely seriously. You can call it selfishness, because in the end, everyone benefits. But I would be wrong if I didn't act like that wasn't part of it.
Oh,
You know,
sure. Yeah,
I-
it's definitely an element of it. I don't doubt that at all. You know, I mean, I want things to work out well for business. I know that is a consequence or a result of practicing virtue, you know, practicing universal law. Like whatever you do, whatever you put out there, that's what you're getting back. That's what you deserve, you know, so treat people in that way in business. And then that's what you get back in business. Also, then you always know, even when you reflect on what happened in a situation, then you know what you did. You know that I would have only done this, or I would have only done that. There's no way that I would have done that. I don't have to worry about telling lies, you know, because I'm not doing anything that I need to lie about. Right. We're always going to be above board. We're always going to go the extra mile. We're at least going to be even. I'm not saying that I'm always going to sacrifice myself, but I'm frequently going to do that just to make sure that when I'm trying to protect someone, I'm doing that. You know, if I said that we were going to do something and it didn't go that way and I made an error, then we're going to correct that. We're going to overcorrect, you know, because that's going to, you know, it's going to flow out into the, you know, into the world. You know, people are going to hear about that. This is something that we talked about yesterday a little bit in terms of the new world with reviews online.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard all these, you know, you mentioned it, you alluded to the fact that car salesmen, you know, have a bad rap or a bad rep, you know, so people treat them that way.
But deservingly.
Well, maybe, maybe so.
We earned that.
Yeah, and there's anonymity in car sales because there's so many and they move around to different places. As real estate agents, we also have a bad rap. We always have. We're salesmen. For decades, realtors are doing deals. They're very complicated. There's a lot of bad news going out there, like that guy does this. This guy he'll take you. This person will do that kind of stuff. And the thing is, there's no proof. Back then, there was no proof. There was no way to hold these people's feet to the fire except for telling the 10 people that you know the limited amount of details that you know. But nowadays, all this stuff can go on the internet and it can live forever. They will put it, if you do something out of bounds from the right thing to do, that review could last 30 years. You know, if there were 10 of them on your online reviews out there, you could be driven out of the business. You know, and then, you know, what if somebody was posting incorrect ones or lies? That would be crazy. I wonder if there's a way to appeal that kind of thing. But the other side of that is the public is now able to police us. And that record is public information and lives forever. And that makes us better is what I'm saying. The real estate business has been elevated by online reviews, and I benefit from that on a regular basis. I know you have a lot of online reviews too. I mean, do you agree that online reviews have taken us to another level or a higher level of respect?
Yeah, respect and accountability. You know, I mean, like you said, those reviews, I mean, they can have long-lasting damage, and it's another check in the system to make a person think twice about what I'm about to do and how it could harm me. And if it takes more selfishness, if it takes that element of what is it going to do to me to stop somebody from doing wrong, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Obviously, we wish people would do right for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But even if it's in that element, I'll take it. Just like cameras have made committing certain crimes so much harder, making people think twice. You know, for all you guys that don't know this, you know, crime has consistently gone down since we've been alive. You know, I know you hear a lot of stories and anecdotal stories that make you believe that this world is not safe and what happened to the good old days where we could walk down the street. Well, look at the numbers.
You just didn't know.
Yeah.
You just didn't know what was going on back then.
That's right.
Now you know. And we know now that it's actually better. We thought it was good, but it was bad and we just didn't know. And then now it's safer than when we thought it was good. Wow. Imagine how much better it actually is.
But it all loops back to the power of a story, the power of information, and how it stains inside of us. We read one story about one kid in one place getting picked up in a white van, and now little Timmy can't go outside no more.
Yeah.
Because you can't unknow what your brain knows. And even though it's a 1 in a million crime, you would never forgive yourself if it ended up happening. So it's a balance, and I get it, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like I said, it all comes back to the power of what we put online, the power of the stories that get told about us, and how permanent they are with this new internet. It ain't just a piece of newspaper that's going to get thrown into the recycling pile. I mean, this is forever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what you got, man? You know, Mr.
You know, I mean, my 75 hard thing is going really good. You know, we're like 12 days in. Man, it just feels like what we've been doing, you know. I'm drinking, dude, I'll drink like 80 ounces of water before I even leave the house. Just so the rest of the day I'm not trying to force down glasses and glasses and glasses to get to 128 ounces. Down today, lower than I've been since the beginning of the year. You know, this is March 13th. So that's really good. And then this morning, we parlayed it right into a networking event with the Greater Topeka Partnership at the new Washburn Law School building.
Now, what was the appointment that early in the morning, or is it like an all-day thing? Like, help me with that.
This was a power breakfast.
Oh.
Yeah. And, you know, I think we had one here some time ago. This one was very well attended because they have a brand new building. You know, and
it was beautiful, wasn't it?
It's beautiful. We got to go through the mock courtrooms of the appellate court and of the trial court. We met. Man, I spent probably 5 minutes talking with the president, the new president of Washburn University, Julie. It's her last name starts with an M. It's not Michalski. It's not yet. Cut that out. That's not the first time. They are building a president's residence across the street from Washburn.
Oh, brother.
I haven't seen it.
Brother, wait, time out.
Yeah.
They threw that thing up
fast.
It was a masterclass. And if somebody hasn't been taking some kind of stop motion, time lapse, something on that, you haven't even driven by it?
Oh, no. I haven't even driven down McVicker.
Bro, this thing is
weeks.
Beautiful. And I can't, they must have started it. God, August?
Wow.
I mean, it's basically done on the outside.
She said they raised 2 or 3 buildings that there were houses. There was a house that had a fire.
Yes.
And and then she told me that what it is on the main level, it's for entertaining. So, and then the second floor is their residence. And she's always lived in Topeka, but, you know, and they've always owned homes, but they're going to move to that residence. And she said, I'm thinking events, donors, boosters, that kind of stuff. She said students, she's hoping to host students there at the house. And, to even think something I'm sure that happens in other places at big universities, but Washburn, I went to KU, there's 30, University of Kansas, there's 35,000 students, first class, I've got my alumni pin on today that I just got today. And, first class was 1,500 students at Washburn, but at University of Kansas. Wow. But at KU or at Washburn University, when I went in, all my classes were like 20, 25. One of my first classes was with the mother of your children, in an accounting class.
Yes. Actually, yes.
And but what a cool experience this morning to talk with her. She was very interested. She asked me about my history. We connected over Medicaid expansion, and that told me a little bit about, where she's coming from. She's an engineer. She's studied at I think a Missouri science school. And then she's been in business ever since then. She was able to connect with Amanda, who was also in physical therapy, my wife, our owner and broker. And she ended up in accounting. So they had a really good connection. And it was nice talking to somebody like that.
I drove by the house, the gigantic house, yesterday, and it went through my brain. What are they going to use this thing for? I saw that there was a 3-car garage stack, and I'm like, what will they use this for? And then today you come in and tell me exactly what they're going to use.
We were talking when we first started talking. She was talking to the guy that was preparing all the orange juice and stuff. He was like the head caterer. His name was Lloyd. I talked to him afterwards.
Nice.
And I was joking. I said, "What do you call the chancellor of the president's place? I know with the church you call it a parsonage. The pastor lives in a parsonage, which is a house next door, which I've had the experience of selling a time or two.
And is on the market right now.
Oh, there's
one on the market right now with the house.
The stone, is that the stone one maybe? No. Or the brick one? But yeah, anyway. But yeah, she just said, I said, do you call it the mansion? Is it and the guy's like, yeah, it's a mansion. She's like, it's not he's like, yeah, it's a mansion, dude. 3 or 4 car garage, And it's like the governor's mansion, but no, just the president's house.
You need to drive by it today. We need to just end this podcast and drive by it on the way to our...
Well, I'm glad they're building something cool over there. There's right across the street, there are some sorority houses or fraternity houses. And one time, oh man, I regret this so much. I had the chance where I listed a house right across the street from Washburn. It was a little cobbled together inside, but it was one of those 2-story houses where you walk in, and I should know more architectural style, but walk in, dining room, big living room, kitchen back there, 4 bedrooms upstairs, sunroom on the back. Don't they just call them like 4 squares? Yeah, I think it's 4 square.
Yeah.
$146,000, man. Ended up getting foreclosed on. Should have bought it. Perfect Airbnb,
Dude, what's happening with it right now?
Oh, I had nothing. This is 8 years ago.
You don't drive by it.
I do nothing. No, that's what I'm saying. Nothing's happening with it. It's just the same house, dude. I could have.
In fact, sorry, and right around the corner on 17th Street from McVicker, the brand new house, a private citizen is building another brand new house right off of 17th.
Yeah, you're right.
You've seen that?
Yes, I have seen that one.
Yeah, the house that they're talking about is really right around the corner from that. I mean, just bam, bam. Wow. Yeah, good things happening, big things happening, and I love
Topeka. I learned too from the dean of the law school. So he's been the dean for a year. He's been there for 16 years as a professor. He said that they don't have a basement.
In that big room, in that big house.
Yeah, we walked through the appellate court. Sense. No, not the house. Oh, the law school. And I joked with him about that. I went back to the robing quarters, and I was like, I really thought I was going to find like a chocolate fountain back here or something, for the judges, But he said, well, that's actually our storm shelter because the law school is built on rock. Like they didn't even want to go down to build a basement because it's so expensive to do that. So it's probably so solid where that house is sitting, and that makes me feel good about my house because my pool is not 8 feet deep; it's like 7 feet deep because he went down and he hit rock, and he didn't want to pay to go any further or go down further than he did. So, man, maybe my house will never settle
like a rock.
How do you feel with your house backing up to that creek right there? What do you think about the strata and all that you're sitting on?
It's funny you say that because we have a feature. Our backyard is terraced into 3 levels
now, or was it always?
It always was.
Okay.
And what's even more significant about this is our neighbor shares the same terracing structure, and there's these giant limestone blocks that they probably sell for like $100 and some each.
Uninstalled.
But without, that's just to pick it up. You still got to get somebody to put it in place, and they go from our backyard all the way to the end of the neighbor's backyard, and they just cleaned up a bunch of the creek honeysuckle, and so now it looks. I cleaned up my lower level first.
Yours was overgrown too, yeah.
Yep. And I found out also that honeysuckle is being called an invasive species.
Just like the Bradford pear tree now, too.
It's bad, and it's all over the creek. And what I found is that it's the first to green up in the spring and the last to lose its leaves, which makes it dominant. And so what now, the county is actually coming into places where it's overgrown, and they wait for everything else to go dormant. And while it's still alive, they spray glyphosate, which is basically a weed and grass killer that kills anything that's alive. It doesn't affect everything else that has gone to sleep for the fall, but it kills off the honey. So they've already had like an 80% reduction in it so far.
Will they kill my Bradford pear trees? Like, is there any kind of program for that? Have you heard? Because
from what I understand, if you go to certain places, they'll at least give you something.
Yeah.
I heard that, I was told that they'll give me something for the honeysuckle, some kind of fogger or something.
I'm afraid to go in there because of the poison ivy in there. I have a Nike swoosh on this arm right here from one stick of poison ivy from
to this day.
Yeah,
it's still here.
It hasn't tanned away. It's not itchy, but there's a scar there or whatever.
I didn't know poison ivy could do all of that,
dude.
And that's some of the softest skin in your body. So
last year I was mowing over there, and I was like, oh, let me grab this stuff and clear it, and I started pulling it, and I was like, oh my God, this is freaking poison ivy, the vines. And so I ran inside, jumped in the shower, washed off with the oak.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Or is there somebody somewhere saying, oh, why did you do that? No.
Well, I used that soap because I already had it because I was already afraid of my poison ivy, And I saved myself. I only got it there. I got like a couple of dots on me and all that. But I want to go back to your creek, right? Your creek goes down like 15 feet drop down to the bottom of it, would you say? Is it 10 feet?
No. It's a good 10 feet. Basically most creeks, you have like a side of it where it's a cliff, where it just drops off. And then you got a side that has a real shore where it gradually goes all the way down to the creek. We're on the cliff side. Mm-hmm. And I like that.
It's cool. Nice view back there.
I'm not worried about any of that cliff eroding away. Or I'm not seeing anything that scares me there. And like I said, with the terracing that we have and the mold, it's probably 100 of those blocks between my house.
Dang.
Because it's 2 levels of it. To create the 3 levels, it's 2 different retaining walls. And those, I know how strong retaining walls are. If those retaining walls weren't there, those houses would have never been allowed to be built. Guaranteed. I think somebody realized, like, hey, we got it. This is the only way.
And that was a house built in the 80s?
Yes.
Probably?
Okay. But here's what's even weirder.
Yeah.
The neighbor's house was built 10 years later. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they just continued off of what we had already started, or if that backyard had already been developed in a sense, but the lot had never been sold. I don't know.
You're back on the way back into like a cul-de-sac,
That's right.
We both live out east of town where it's sort of a I don't know, suburb, ruralish area. Yours is more of a suburb. I'm a little bit more rural.
We're both county though, right?
Yeah, we're both county.
We're both technically out of the city limits.
I have the ditches on the side of the road instead of the curb.
Yeah.
You have ditches, but when you get to your house, you have curb in that cul-de-sac, don't you?
We've got sewer. Now, half of the neighborhood doesn't.
Yeah.
Half of them have the ditches where the water runs through. And we're finally, our special taxes for our sewer system in this year. So I'm happy about that.
But so
as a grass lover,
and
I'm
your
very happy.
creek, like that thing, like if it's raining really hard, you're getting Russian kind of not Russian, not like Putin Russian, but rushing water, that's also scary, like Putin.
Oh shoot, no, I dude, part of me wants to jump in with a tube when that happens.
Really?
I've been there almost 7 years, and to have it rain so much that the water can move a car type of current has probably happened 4 times.
Okay. All right. But
it barely happens. But when it does, the power of that water.
It's amazing. You go out and you want to watch it.
I know. It goes all the way to the Kansas River. It goes underneath 470. Like I've traversed it when it was frozen. I took my daughter and we walked it.
You're proper. So it's been there 30, 40 years, right? It has water rushing like that sometimes. You're up on a cliff. Yeah. You must be sitting on a rock too, you think?
Something.
Remember when we bought your house? Because I helped Chris and Monica buy that house, and we had worries about the foundation. Because in the back, there's like a little down tilt to the backside. Has any of that gotten worse at all, or is it the same?
No, it's the same. And I have a couple of doors that when you barely open them, they say, yeah, we're gonna come on over because of that little bit of settling that occurred.
Was it settling or what? Like in the beginning, we thought like it's possible that it may have even been built like this. Do you think it's settling back there, or like from the past?
I think that, and it makes sense that it would settle in that direction of the two directions. One's up, the front of my house is basically up on the hill, and then the back of my house, you've got all this going on. So it should cheat towards the back of the house, and at some point that has happened.
For them,
but we don't have any evidence that it has happened anymore since we have been there. And we definitely didn't have any evidence of when it initially occurred. But we're not talking so serious that you got drywall ripping apart and corners or you got any of that mess going on.
For them to build right there in that part of town with a creek right there that could potentially, erode over the years, they must have checked and they must believe that there is rock strata down there that's very sturdy. And if I think about it, so we live in an area of town that's probably one of the highest parts of town. It's called Shawnee Heights. And you drive up to it. There's some hills in our area. And when you have hills, it's because in the Mesozoic era or the whatever, when the glaciers were coming through, these are the parts that were not carved out by the glacier. The lower parts were, and that's where water was flowing. So we are probably built on rock that's been there for millions of years. And when I think about it, when I see settlement over in our area, it's not because of just general settlement. It's only because people just are not taking care of their gutters.
There we go.
So I think we're just in a really strong, there might be a layer of soil, but we are on top of sturdy ground.
I'm going to be honest with you, and we'll wrap it up. But I can't remember the last time I saw a company that I knew did foundation repair, or I saw a backhoe, digging somebody's foundation out in my neighborhood. And I've been there 7 years.
Huh, wow.
I cannot even remember a single time that I have seen that. Now, with that said, this is a tidbit. In Kansas and all over the Midwest, we have been unusually dry. We have had drought conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And what it turns out, this blew my mind because I think I know everything. I'm as curious as they come.
You do. You want to know everything.
You damn right.
Yeah.
And it turns out, because of the drought, the surrounding soil that is on the outside of that is essentially holding your foundation and providing strength on the outside by just being there. Because when it loses its moisture over time, it starts to recede away from your foundation. And so 90% of the time in the Midwest when there's foundation problems is because water gets in and it goes against the foundation. It freezes up in the winter and it pushes inward on your foundation.
Because water expands.
Because when we know the power of water. But it turns out when the soil starts receding away, we start seeing foundation issues where the wall is wanting to go the opposite direction because there's no longer anything holding it from the outside, that it starts to fold outward. And we're talking the amount of repairs for most of these people have been up there.
Thousands. You're talking $5,000
over the past couple of years. No. But the raw call,
the frequency,
the amount of calls in this drought season, and that's why anybody that has ever dealt with this knows what it means to soak your foundation periodically.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
You want to keep your soil not puckered up.
Yes,
it needs to be just rubbing up against.
We think that having water against the foundation is inherently bad, and yes, having a never-ending source of water that from 2 days of rain that skipped over your gutters that are jam-packed with leaves, that's not good.
Yeah.
But a controlled amount of water to simply keep your soil at a moisture level that's going to keep it against the house, that's good. And that's something I found out from a foundation specialist who went to look at a place that had a little bit of a crack. The people were concerned. The guy said it's no big deal, but if you want it to not get any worse, this is what you need.
Water your foundation a little bit. Never put dirt in there. Do not put dirt in there when it puckers back like that. Don't fill it with dirt because that's another thing that will make it expand too far and push your walls in. You know,
I never knew that.
Yeah. So, you know, everything in moderation, you know, the water on your foundation, not too much, not too little. We got to keep a balance with everything. I do want to circle back to one thing, which is related to what we talked about last week, which is the price of a view. Okay. You have a view out of the back of your house where you've got a little deck back there. Now you've got the terraces where you've cleared everything. You've got a creek. You know, you've got trees and you've got green space back there when there's leaves and all that.
Yeah.
And you have a hammock hung back there. You post stuff, you send people messages from your hammock.
Yes, I do.
How much per month would you pay to have that as opposed to not having that in your house right now?
So having that versus just looking at my neighbor's backyard, God, legitimately a couple $100 a month.
Man,
it's one of the reasons why the thought of me even leaving that place rather than just making it the best place it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's an easy calculation for me because I know what I'll have to pay to get what I have in that house and to get that type of view. Live in the cul-de-sac life where every single car that comes down your cul-de-sac, you know what it is, and the moment one comes that ain't part of the crew, you can see a car that's not supposed to be there from behind your damn head when you live in the cul-de-sac.
You heard it. You're like, what?
That don't sound like that, Roy.
Either he needs a muffler or that's not him.
That ain't him. Yeah.
So what you just told me, $200 a month.
Easily.
That
probably
is
$250 easy.
On a 30-year mortgage, that's a $28,000 view. You take the $200, you divide that by $7 per month or per thousand. And that gets you $28,000 that you would pay extra to have that house. I'm trying to quantify the cost of views in Kansas, everybody.
Come on.
Nobody talks about this. And I have that listing with I'm calling it the $100,000 view right now. Chris and I thought it's a $142,000 view when we talked about it last week. We'll see what happens. We're going to report back about this listing. Everybody's telling me it's overpriced. I hear that all the time.
Okay. And also, let us know what you think about the new view. Switch things around. I'm looking at myself, and I'm going to tell you, I think I look a little bit sexier. Actually, I think I look a lot sexier from this view.
You're flirting with yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would do me. So just understand that, we're trying to switch things up to make it is more appealing for everybody involved.
Yep. We appreciate you guys coming out, hanging
with the homeboys.
That's what you're doing. We're going to keep doing this. Week after week after week, you guys need to, what is it? Like, comment, share. How's it go?
That's right. Actually, I have a son on the way. His name is Like and Share. So yes,
bless that boy.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, like and share and subscribe is his name. But yes, please do all the things. We love you, and we want to keep coming back and give you some fun stories and great information.
We appreciate you. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.